Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television this Saturday morning. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the headlines. Winter session of Parliament from 15th of December to 5th of January. 3 bills to be taken up in upcoming session to replace ordinances. Rating agency Standard & Poor's maintains India's sovereign rating at BBB-. Outlook stable in view of government reforms. Over 230 killed and scores injured in terror attack at mosque in Egypt. Attackers detonate bomb and then fire at fleeing worshippers. 3-day mourning announced. And PV Sindhu advances to the semi-final of Hong Kong Open Super Series. 3 boxers enter finals of the Women's World Boxing Championship. Our top story this morning: dates for the much-awaited winter session of Parliament were declared on Friday. The Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs recommended that the session will be held from 15th of December to 5th of January. Here are the details.
The winter session of the Parliament will begin on December 15th and conclude on January 5th. The dates were recommended by the Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs in a meeting headed by Home Minister Rajnath Singh on Friday morning. According to procedure, the recommendation of the CCPA would be forwarded to the President.
The Cabinet Committee has proposed that we will have the winter session from 15th December to 5th of January. Of the Parliament.
Justifying the government's decision to call the winter session after the Assembly polls, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar said this isn't unprecedented and that previous governments, including the Congresses, have done it in the past. He also urged opposition parties to cooperate and allow the House to function smoothly.
I request all the opposition parties and all the political parties to participate and make the Parliament session fruitful and meaningful, because this winter session many important bills are being considered and many important issues of national importance and issues relating to the people are being debated.
The Parliamentary Affairs Minister also listed some important bills that are likely to be taken up in the upcoming session. One would be a bill to end triple talaq and the bill to grant constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes. 3 bills will be taken up in the upcoming session to replace ordinances. These are the Goods and Services Tax Compensation to States 2017, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Ordinance 2017 and the Indian Forest Amendment Ordinance 2017. Congress has, however, made it clear that they will continue to corner the government over issues like GST and demonetization.
हर समस्या GST का है और demonetization का और GDP का है और दूसरे जो भी चीज़ें जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में क्या हो रहा है और ये जो टेररिस्ट का मामला है, पाकिस्तान ने जो सैयद हाफिज को ये किया है, वैसे यानी जो राष्ट्रीय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समस्या को भी उठाएंगे.
The winter session will have 14 working days, with December 25th and 26th being declared Christmas holidays. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the other top story of the day. Global ratings agency Standard & Poor's has maintained its sovereign rating on India constant at BBB-, while keeping its outlook for the country stable. S&P has said that a sizable fiscal deficit and high government debt detracts from sovereign credit profile, adding that fiscal gap is in line with the expectations. The agency, though, expects the Indian economy to grow robustly over 2018 to 2020. It said that it has a favourable view of the reforms that the Indian government has undertaken, lauding the country's fiscal consolidation drive. S&P's highest ever rating for India stood at BBB in 1990. The rating comes after Moody's ratings that upgraded India's credit rating to Baa2 from Baa3. The Finance Ministry has termed the S&P rating as cautious and has hoped that the reforms will reflect in ratings upgrade next year.
वो ये है कि भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था मजबूत है, भारत की आर्थिक स्थिति सुधरती हुई नजर आ रही है, जो घाटा है, आर्थिक घाटा, वो नियंत्रण में है और उनका अनुमान है कि आगे भी नियंत्रण में रहेगा। जो विकास की गति है, वो गति उनके अनुमान से और बढ़ेगी।
S&P भी सब ओवरऑल व्यू उसी तरह से ले और सभी जो फैक्टर्स जिन पे मे बी नेक्स्ट ईयर तक स्टोरी और ज़्यादा साफ हो जाएगी। इवन ऑन फिस्कल साइड ग्रोथ स्टोरी जो टेम्पररी डिसरप्शन हुआ तो शायद S&P भी और फेवरेबल व्यू ले पाएगी।
थोड़ा सा कॉशियस रहा है उनका अप्रोच, ऐसे मैं मानना चाहता हूँ। तो थोड़ा सा डिसअपॉइंटमेंट जरूर होगा इंडस्ट्री को, सरकार को, कैपिटल मार्केट को। अगर आप उनके जो ऑब्जर्वेशंस जो उन्होंने किए वो काफी पॉजिटिव रहे हैं, जैसे कि दे आर गंग हो अबाउट दी जीडीपी ग्रोथ, कि फिस्कल डेफिसिट की और उनका एक क्वेश्चन मार्क रहा कि इफ यू मैनेज फिस्कल डेफिसिट आफ्टर दीज टू जीएसटी और दूसरा जो डिमोनेटाइजेशन।
And Finance Minister Arun Jaitley launched State Bank of India's YONO app on Friday. You Only Need One is also known as YONO and is a mobile app offering customers a host of services including swift loans and the creation of savings accounts. YONO will allow customers to pay for books, renting cabs, entertainment, eating out, travelling and medical services. The SBI has partnered with 60 e-commerce ventures including Amazon, Uber, Ola, Myntra, Jabong and ShopperStop to provide exclusive offers and discounts to YONO users.
If this app has started with a width of certain activities, certain commercial activities, with almost every day, one will see improvements and additions as far as this application is concerned. But that's a very important part of the way India is now in future going to spend its resources.
And President Ramnath Kovind will inaugurate a two-day conference on the National Law Day. The event is being jointly organized by the Law Commission and the Niti Aayog. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver the valedictory address at the end of the two-day conference. Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan and Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar and Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will also address the event. Now, there will be 4 sessions at the event. These include judicial review and parliamentary democracy, balancing the separation of power and appointments to higher judiciary, constraints of collegiate system and reforms ahead. The National Law Day celebrated on 26th of November, the day on which the Constitution of India was adopted by the Constituent Assembly in 1949. And the curtains came down on the 5th edition of the Global Conference on Cyberspace on Friday. Delivering the valedictory address, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj highlighted the importance of a safe and secure digital ecosystem. She also stressed that digitization will make governance easily accessible to the people and also provide high-quality digital delivery of services.
The 5th edition of the Global Conference on Cyberspace came to a close on Friday in the national capital. Delivering the keynote address, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj underlined the need to keep the cyberspace safe and secure for a better digital future. She also said that there was a need for striking a balance in data availability, utility, innovation, anonymity and privacy.
We have moved ahead from only cybersecurity to the security of the cyberspace, using tools of diplomacy and international cooperation.
Meanwhile, Information and Technology Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad noted that to protect the privacy of individuals, India has put in place a strong law with respect to Aadhaar and was also working towards a comprehensive data protection law.
I wish to assure that being an important player in the field of digital ecosystem, India very soon will come with a very robust data protection law which will recognize privacy, which will recognize the worth of individual, which will recognize digital initiative and also give innovation a big footprint.
The two-day international conference was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in presence of Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, Julian Zhao. The theme for the 5th edition of the conference was Cyber for All, an inclusive, sustainable, developmental, safe and secure cyberspace. More than 10,000 delegates from 139 countries participated in the event. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And now our special segment on Gujarat Assembly elections. Well, campaigning is in full swing for elections in the poll-bound state of Gujarat. The Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi on Friday addressed various rallies in Porbandar and Ahmedabad. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also slated to address 8 rallies in Saurashtra and South Gujarat during his visit to the state next week.
With just a fortnight for the first phase of polling in Gujarat, election fever is at its peak. Both BJP and Congress stalwarts are busy addressing rallies in the state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi too will reach his home state on November 27th to address election rallies in Saurashtra and South Gujarat. In Ahmedabad on Friday, Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the Congress party has not played the role of a responsible opposition.
डेमोक्रेसी में सरकार में बैठे हुए पार्टी के ऊपर अगर प्रश्न पूछते हैं उसका जवाब देने का जिम्मेदारी जितना है उतना ही ऑपोजिशन में जो पार्टी है और इससे पहले सेंटर में सरकार में थे उसके ऊपर अगर प्रश्न पूछा जाता उसका जवाब देने का जिम्मेदारी भी वो ऑपोजिशन को बिल्कुल है। ये नहीं है कि वो ऑपोजिशन गुजरात में है और अभी केंद्र में ऑपोजिशन में है। प्रश्न पूछना उनका ड्यूटी है मगर जवाब देना उनका ड्यूटी नहीं है।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi is also on a 2-day visit to the poll-bound state. While addressing rallies in Porbandar and Ahmedabad, Rahul said if Congress wins the elections in the state, the government's door will be open to the people. The Congress leader also met the fishermen community and promised to create a separate ministry for fisheries if the party comes to power.
जो काम किसान करता है वो काम मछुआरा करता है और आपने मुझे कहा था कि अगर एग्रीकल्चर की मिनिस्ट्री हो सकती है तो मछुआरों की फिशरीज की मिनिस्ट्री क्यों नहीं हो सकती है और ये बिल्कुल सही बात है। फिशरीज की मछुआरों के लिए एक अलग मिनिस्ट्री होनी चाहिए। आपकी जो मांगे हैं, आपकी जो कठिनाइयां हैं, उसके लिए एक अलग मिनिस्ट्री होनी चाहिए और कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार दिल्ली में आएगी तो ये हम काम करके आपको दिखाएंगे।
Meanwhile, the BJP has released its 5th list of 13 candidates for the second phase of assembly polls in the state, dropping 2 sitting MLAs. Polling for the 2-phase elections for the 182 assembly seats will take place on December 9th and 14th. The results will be declared on December 18th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
That was our special segment on Gujarat Assembly elections, and with this we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news.
I'm Dr. Ravi Mehrotra. I direct the National Institute of Cancer Prevention, ICMR, which is located at Noida. I'm going to talk about how more than 60% of all cancers occurring in our country are preventable. Please keep watching Eureka.
is Kibutu in Arunachal Pradesh, East Point East on the map of India. Kibutu is dangerously close to the Chinese pressure point. We see first-hand and unseen areas of sand dunes and see how BSF is guarding this difficult territory along the Indo-Pak borderline. We are now slowly entering into the interior-most parts of the Sir Creek area. Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force justifies each word of this saying. Watch super exclusive episodes of National Security series only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back after the break. Now, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that unity and integrity are India's strength. He said this during his meeting with the representatives of the National Foundation of Communal Harmony in the national capital on Friday. The Vice President also met children who were participating in the Communal Harmony Week. He asked the children to take care of the country's cultural heritage and help India become a global center for learning. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also released a book written by former Secretary General of the Rajya Sabha, Vivek Kumar Agnihotri. The book, Daring Democracy, is Agnihotri's autobiography, where he talks about his social and professional experiences.
एक तो ये है हमारी एक तरह से कह लीजिए ऑटोबायोग्राफी, लेकिन जैसी ऑटोबायोग्राफी जनरली आपको पढ़ने में आती हैं उससे थोड़ा ही हटकर है। इसमें सिर्फ कुछ रेलेवेंट एक्सपीरियंसेस जो कि स्टूडेंट हो, चाहे टीचर हो, चाहे कोई और हो, उसको वो समझ में आए और उससे वो कुछ काम निकाल सके।
On to news from Jammu and Kashmir now. Now, Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti has directed a panel to review cases against youth facing charges of stone pelting in the 2015-2017 period. The Chief Minister has also directed the panel to give recommendations within 10 days. This comes after the announcement of withdrawing cases against first-time stone pelters. The panel, tasked with reviewing cases against youth for the 2008 to 2014 period, has been asked to review the cases for 2015 to 2017 period as well. Following the decision, the Chief Minister said that she hoped it will help in creating a positive and conciliatory atmosphere in the state. On the other hand, Jammu and Kashmir DGP SP Vaid said that demonetization has resulted in dip in stone pelting incidents in Kashmir. He also said that it has helped in curbing hawala transactions and black money in the state. Meanwhile, security forces arrested a Pakistani militant belonging to the Lashkar-e-Toiba from a forest area in Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara district. The army and the police had launched a joint operation. More news from Jammu and Kashmir. The centre's special envoy to Kashmir, Dineshwar Sharma, visited Jakti area, the largest township of the displaced Kashmiri Pandits. He met them to understand their problems during his second visit to the state after being appointed the centre's representative. He visited several households in the area where people apprised him of their problems. Around 60,000 Kashmiri Pandit families migrated in 1990 after the onset of militancy there. Of these, 39,000 families based themselves in various camps in Jammu. Sharma also met Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti and also Governor N.N. Vora. In his meeting with Vora, Sharma discussed the significant geopolitical developments in the region since his last visit to the state. And the US has expressed deep concern over the release of terrorist Hafiz Saeed. In a statement, the State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert said, and I quote him now, "The United States is deeply concerned that LET leader Hafiz Saeed has been released from house arrest in Pakistan. LET is a designated foreign terrorist organization responsible for the death of hundreds of innocent civilians in terrorist attacks, including a number of American citizens. The Pakistani government should make sure that he is arrested and charged for his crimes," unquote. Hafiz Saeed, the mastermind of the 2008 Mumbai attack, was released from a 10-month-long detention this week. Hafiz has a 10 million bounty on his head by the US government. In our top international focus, at least 235 people have been killed and scores more injured in a bomb and gun assault on a mosque in Egypt's North Sinai. A hunt for the attackers has been launched with no one claiming responsibility so far. Egyptian president has said that security forces would respond with brutal strength and has also declared 3 days of national mourning. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined world leaders and organizations in condemning the deadliest attack in Egypt in recent history.
Deadliest attack in Egypt's modern history. A crowded Sufi mosque in northern Sinai during Friday prayers targeted by militants. Terrorists first detonated a bomb in Al-Rawda Mosque in the town of Bir al-Abed, and fleeing worshippers were then shot. The gunmen also opened fire on ambulances as they were transporting wounded worshippers before the arrival of security forces. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi vowed to respond to the attack with brutal force.
واستعادة الأمن والاستقرار بمنتهى القوة خلال الفترة القليلة القادمة. هذا هو ردنا. سنرد على هذا العمل بقوة غاشمة في مواجهة هؤلاء الشرذمة المتطرفين الإرهابيين التكفيريين.
The Egyptian military began a hunt for the attackers, combing the area of assault. While no one has claimed responsibility, the strike bears the hallmarks of an attack by the Islamic State. The mosque is known as the birthplace of an important Sufi cleric. 3 days of national mourning has been declared.
بتقول ودخلوا علينا من برا حوالي 10-20 واحد أسلحة دمروا كل اللي موجود واللي أصيب واللي استشهد طبعا أكثر كتير فوق ما تتصور.
Egyptian security forces have for years been fighting an Islamist insurgency in the Sinai Peninsula, and militants affiliated with Islamic State have been behind scores of deadly attacks in the desert region. After the mosque attack, Egyptian military conducted airstrikes on targets in nearby mountains. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned the terror attack and said India resolutely supports the fight against all forms of terrorism and stands with the people and the Egyptian government. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj also condemned the attack. Governments in the UK, US, France, Russia, Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia and elsewhere deplored the massacre. Donald Trump tweeted, "We have to get tougher and smarter than ever before, and we will. Need the wall, need the ban." The United Nations Security Council and Secretary General Antonio Guterres called the assault a heinous and cowardly terrorist attack and called for the perpetrators to be brought to justice. Arab League condemned the attack as a terrifying crime. Israel expressed solidarity, lighting up Tel Aviv's Municipal Hall in Egypt's national colors. The iconic Eiffel Tower switched off lights in tribute to the victims. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's get you all the sporting action now. Ace Indian badminton player PV Sindhu has advanced into the semi-finals of the Hong Kong Open Super Series tournament. In the quarter-final on Friday, Olympic silver medalist PV Sindhu beat world number 2 Akane Yamaguchi of Japan in straight games 21-12, 21-19. Sindhu will now face 6th seed Ratchanok Intanon of Thailand for a place in the final. News from the boxing ring, and Ace Indian women boxers Jyoti Gulia, Shashi Chopra and Ankushita Bora have reached the final at the AIBA Youth Women's World Boxing Championships in Guwahati. Jyoti beat Kazakhstan's Zansaya Abramovia in the 51 kg category. She will now face Russia's Ekaterina Molchanova in the final, while Shashi Chopra beat Mongolia's Namun Mongkhor in the 57 kg category. She will face Vietnam's Do Hong Nok. In another match, Ankushita Bora beat Thailand's Thankachok Saksri in the 64 kg category. And in some cricket news, India will resume their first innings of the second test match against Sri Lanka on the second day today at the Vidarbha Cricket Association Stadium in Nagpur. On the opening day on Friday, the hosts were 11 for 1 after wrapping the visitors' team on just 205 runs at stumps. Lahiru Gamaj bowled Lokesh Rahul for 7 runs, while Murali Vijay and Cheteshwar Pujara both were batting on 2, with India trailing by 194 runs. In bowling, off-spinner Ravichandran Ashwin took 4 wickets, while Ishant Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja took 3 wickets each. Sri Lankan skipper Dinesh Chandimal with 57 runs and Dimuth Karunaratne with 51 runs were amongst the top scorers for the Lankan side. And the first Ashes series between Australia and England is underway at Brisbane. On day 3 of the test, Australia are now 218 for the loss of 7 wickets, with batsmen Pat Cummins and Stephen Smith at the crease. On Friday, England were all out for 302 for 116 overs. This is the third time that England have reached 300 batting in the Ashes series at the Gabba. England have not won a test at Brisbane since 1986, while Australia have not lost a test on this ground since 1988. The ongoing series will conclude on 27th of November. And a look at all the other sporting action in Sports Wrap. Ace Indian billiard player Pankaj Advani has entered the round 32 of the World Snooker Championships in Doha. Advani beat Yemen's Ahmed Salumi 4-0. Now Advani will clash with Itaro Santos of Brazil and an eye for the last 16th berth. The government will restructure Sports Authority of India to streamline it and involve more professionals in the body. The government says it wants to remove the word authority from the name of the body, as sports is a service. It also wants to reduce 50% of its staff by 2022, and several services will be outsourced. And South Africa's Supreme Court increased a Paralympic athlete Oscar Pistorius' jail sentence to 13 years and 5 months after the state argued that his original sentence of 6 years was lenient. Pistorius was imprisoned in July last year after being found guilty on the appeal of murdering his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp. Her family has welcomed the decision and said that the court showed justice. That's it from me and my team in this edition of news. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.